Coming to you from sunny California and the Great White North. Get ready. We are breaking down the obstacles on the Armchair Ninja Podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Armchair Ninja Podcast. It is Friday, July 27th, 2018. My name is Rich, and joining me this week will not be Bijan. Right now, I am joined by Jacob Bowling, but radio listeners in Wichita, St. Louis, and Des Moines know him better as DJ Type Band. How you making out?
Pretty well, and this is a little weird because usually I just hear you say that on the podcast, so it's weird that we're having a conversation. You can hear me, and I'm not just driving around in my car right now.
It's like they're just talking back to you, right? It's just a weird little thing. So for those that don't know, you competed in the Minneapolis qualifiers this year, in spite of having 4 open heart surgeries and being told to stop competing in sports. Soccer it was actually at one point. So can you talk a little about those challenges and what led you to ninja competition?
Yeah, so as you said, I've had 4 open heart surgeries. As early as I could start playing soccer, I was playing soccer. I had an older brother who played soccer, younger brother who played soccer. So we were a soccer family traveling for tournaments, playing year round and everything. But I was actually born with, it's commonly referred to as a hole in your heart, which it's common among like heart problems for like newborn babies. It's something that happens. And so when I was 18 months old, I had an open heart surgery to repair that hole. And typically it's like a kind of a one-off thing. Like you get that fixed and then you're good to go. Like I've actually met a couple of people who've had that procedure before, and the rest of their lives went drastically different than mine. And then when I was about 6 years old, I found out that one of my valves disintegrated.
Is that normal? So you said the other people, like they basically had like one surgery and they were one and done.
Yeah, so I kind of had two separate issues. They weren't necessarily related, but the doctors don't know what happened. It's possible that I got an infection. The valve got infected during the first surgery. And so I had to, at like 6.5 years old, I had a valve repair and replacement. I actually got a pig valve. It's pretty known, like pigs don't last as long, or live as long as humans. So we knew that eventually I would grow out of that valve and I would need more.
Oh, okay.
And I ended up needing a new valve when I was 13 years old. And then it happened again. Like my senior year of high school, I was 18, found out that I needed another repair. And that's when eventually like I was told I had to stop playing competitive sports. Because I played growing up. Like it was just I had to take a season off or take some time off. But it wasn't until later when I was 18 that they said, yeah, you got to stop playing competitive sports.
So how did that lead you into ninja? Because I find it kind of weird. Like, there's a number of people on the show, like Najee, I believe, and a few other ones that is like, you know what? I'm injured. I can't compete anymore. I'm just going to do this incredibly difficult obstacle course where people frequently injure themselves. Like, it seems like a strange thing to do. Go like, you know what? For safety reasons, I'm going to propel myself across these obstacles and see what happens.
So, I grew up a fan of Ninja Warrior and just like watching the G4, like Ninja Warrior on G4, Sasuke, in my parents' unfinished basement. There was like an exposed beam, and I remember trying to like do the cliffhanger across that while we're watching G4, like me and my friends. So I grew up a fan of the show. In about almost 2 years ago, I moved to St. Louis for work, and I was watching season 7. I was literally sitting at home, like not doing anything on the weekends except watching Ninja Warrior. And I never really had access to a gym before. I never got into it. So I found out I saw some competitors. I saw Kirsty Pratt, the Machine. I saw Kyle Mendoza, the FedEx Ninja, and found out there was a gym in St. Louis. So I decided to check it out because I'd always been a fan. But in between that time from when I finished high school and that time a couple of years ago, I wasn't active at all. After high school was the first time I stopped playing sports because I had to, and that was when I just stopped working out and everything. And being a soccer player, I never liked going to the gym to just, lift weights or run on a treadmill. That wasn't fun to me. So Ninja seemed like a cool way to get back into shape. It didn't seem like working out. So I was like, seems like a fun and exciting way. And it seems like a lot of people say that. It's a fun way to stay active and get in shape.
Yeah, it does seem to be a common theme. I've heard so many ninjas say that in interviews and stuff that was like, I expect, everybody's in such great shape that I expect them to be gym rats. Like Bijan's like a total gym rat. He loves working out. It's like his favorite thing in the world. But these, ninjas tend to go like, oh, I hate the gym. I don't want to go to the gym. I'd rather go play on obstacles, right? They don't see it as exercise in the same way.
Yeah. And one thing is, I was told I had to stop playing competitive sports, and in kind of what they meant by that, like I had to stop playing sports where there was a coach pushing me to my limits.
Right.
And saying, you have to do this, you have to do this. Because part of my thing, even now, is I don't have the endurance as probably a normal person because my heart has been through a lot of stress and it can't work as hard as it needs to. So playing soccer, like my endurance cardio is not that great. And I don't run that much. But I don't have a coach yelling at me to tell me I have to run a mile or this far. But at the Ninja Gym, I can take stuff at my own pace. Like if I get tired, I can stop and slow down and kind of take my time with it, which is the difference.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people like about Ninja Warrior versus Team Ninja Warrior or Ninja versus Ninja, right? You can pick your way through. There is an element of speed, right? Fastest time matters in some cases, but really it's about beating the obstacles. You don't have to be the fastest.
Yeah, if the opportunity ever came, I would love to do Ninja versus Ninja, but I also know it's like I can't keep up. There's no way.
Yeah, that seems like a tall order. So before we get into this, I just want to thank you really quickly for being so supportive of the podcast. You sent us a video in for our 100th episode. You're constantly retweeting things for us and posting your own stuff to encourage people to listen. So I really appreciate that. And I'm so glad that you joined me to cover for Bijan, who's slacking in Japan right now.
I'm glad to be a part of it. That season, when I got into Ninja Warrior, actually into it, training and everything. So after, it wasn't season 7, it was season 8. So I was watching season 8. And then once that wrapped up, I was kind of sitting there like, well, shoot, what do I do now? Like I was going to the gym, but I was like, I want to be more involved in what's happening with Ninja. So I think there was actually a flyer up at the gym, Core Complex in St. Louis is where I started going.
Oh, wow.
And it said it had the Armchair Ninja podcast. I was like, yeah, I'm going to check that out. And it's like was a 25 to 30 minute drive to the gym. So like every Saturday I would start listening to the podcast. So I picked you guys up in the off season because you guys helped carry me through to the next season. So I appreciate you guys.
Well, thank you very much. And I'm sure Bijan will listen to this and get that thank you as well. I got to say, you just made my life because I sent out those flyers when I first started this podcast a couple months in, having no idea if they ever ended up where I sent them to 50 different Ninja gyms. It's glad to know that one of them get up there and at least one of our listeners listened because of it.
It worked. And look, and now I'm on the podcast. Crazy things.
Crazy. Absolutely crazy. So let's get into this episode here. We've got the ANW10 Dallas Finals. What did you think of the opening? I was so thrown right from the beginning of the episode. It's Dallas. Is like, okay, let's see it. Brent Stephenson. They'll probably show flashbacks to Casey. We're going to see a lot of Daniel Gill, but nope, not in that intro.
Yeah. We're going to talk about him later, but the kid.
Yes, it's all about the kid.
In the notes, I wrote hype, but it's worth it because he's amazing.
Yeah, it was all about him and the new ninjas. It was a bunch of new faces. They really were stressing the Dallas area for, hey, we've got some new faces for you, and forget those old guys. They'll show up here. We'll fast forward those ones. It's fine. What did you think of the course? So we had some new stuff. They switched things out. They got rid of the tuning forks, which really disappointed me. Is that going to be a common thing, I wonder, with the finals? They're going to take one of the harder obstacles and kind of lessen it so we get more people into the back half of the course?
That's what I was kind of thinking because, in the LA finals, seeing 9 people finish the course seemed insane to me. I was like, how in the world did 9 people finish the course? And it seems like they are making a lot of changes. I won't say what, but in Minneapolis, they did some similar changes. It seems like maybe season 10, they're kind of playing shuffle on the different qualifying courses. Like they're moving obstacles from city to city.
Oh, maybe.
It seems like more, and it seems like they do want people to go further, and that's what we're seeing, which is exciting.
Yeah, we do want to see people in the back half of the course in the finals. We don't want to see more people. We saw the first half. We saw it over and over and over again. Let's see some of the back half. which leads us to the new one, the Mission Impossible Fallout obstacle, which I was a little iffy on until I saw people on it, and I actually really love that obstacle. I thought it was cool.
First of all, the name, I know it's sponsored and everything. You guys have talked about this before with the Ninjago roll.
Right.
But Fallout just, I don't know.
Oh, you don't like that?
For the name, I didn't like the name because it's not, I don't know how it's associated with how the obstacle actually is. I mean, you're falling out. Is it, also, I haven't seen any recent Mission Impossible, so I'm probably missing everything.
So yeah, I don't know. It's fine. Fallout, as long as they drop the Mission Impossible, which they will if it ever comes back. Just Fallout. Yeah, that works. It's quick. It's catchy.
I like the obstacle.
Oh, you
just
did?
the
Okay.
name. I was like, I don't get the name, but it must just be I think it's Mission Impossible Fallout, so that's probably why.
Yeah, well, I think what I was missing when I first saw it was the reverse grip they have to do on the first two jumps, and then the difficulty. I kind of figured it would be difficult, but I wasn't sure how difficult to jump from that third disc that rotates. That looks insane. It tripped up some top ninjas, but I gotta say, that's, if you want to test some body control and, and body awareness, I don't know what you want to call it, but that looked difficult and right to the heart of what Ninja's about.
Yeah, at first when I saw it, I think my first concern was it didn't look like a typical ninth obstacle where it was kind of like really, really lengthy because there's basically 4 moves on it instead of like
the
circuit board or something like that where you have to make a lot more moves, a lot more tight moves, I guess. But this, because it was like 4 laches, and my first thought was like, well, it'd be cool if it was that grip switch thing a few more times. But then once I saw that third cylinder spinning, it's like, nah, I don't want to do that at all.
Yeah, it seemed like it might be something you could skip over relatively quickly, but then we learned that didn't seem to be the case.
Yeah, it looked like, you said earlier, like I competed in Minneapolis this year, and it kind of like the double twister, which during that whole episode, all the ninjas, we just called it the flying mustache because we didn't know what they were calling it. So double twister, but It's kind of like that where you can, the difficult thing about that was like you could plan out to, I'm going to try to swing, I'm going to maybe swing twice, but then on your second swing, you start going back and it starts spinning on you. So that's kind of the same thing where you might be ready, you're building your swing, and then all of a sudden it twists on you and everything's ruined. Your plans are ruined from that point.
So taking a look at the runs themselves here, we've got Josh Norton was the first one to take the course, a walk-on, and the janitor at Iron Sports, which instantly had me hooked. I thought that was a fantastic way to hook somebody in. It just makes him so memorable. Like the iconic Jim, he's the guy that cleans it up. Like I just love that. And obviously very strong. He made it to the finals. But wow, like really impressive on the course. He passed Crank It Up this time. He had fallen there in the qualifiers. Ended up going out after the second nail clip, or his grip failed. But yeah, he's someone I'm surprised we haven't seen before. Like, how strong do you got to be to get on there?
Yeah, it was, kind of, did you listen to on the NBC podcast today? They talked about, they highlighted like everyone coming from Houston in Iron Sports. And it's funny that you see Daniel Gill, Iron Sports, you see the kid, Barclay Stockett trains there too, and it's like, this guy's the janitor. And he still was amazing. Like, it was awesome. Like, just everyone down there. And also seeing him doing the one-arm lock-offs and like spraying the window was so funny to me. And then the salmon ladder with the doing the salmon ladder with the mop was pretty awesome.
It's a perfect way to link him into the, our favorite ninjas and just have fun with it. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Just interesting. We had a couple of fast forwards after that. We had Andrew Lowe's. What a shock. Got fast forwarded. But he went out on the broken bridge this year. So unfortunately we won't be going to Vegas. Andy's one we've been watching for a very long time and always kind of making fun of the fact they skip him. I guess if he fell on the broken bridge, I guess I get it this time.
At least he got the fast forward. When they fast forwarded him at first, I was like, oh no. And then he fell and I was like, oh no. And my wife was sitting there watching with me. She's like, who's that? I was like, no, that's the point. You should know him. He's so good.
Poor Andy. And we also had a fast forward of Steven Tucker, a DJ, apparently. I think they meant to say Beastmaster there, but
yeah, Beastmaster. He was on season 1 of Beastmaster. That's how I knew him.
Yeah. He ended up going out and Crank It Up. So I mean that tells you how tough Crank It Up is. I always knew that was a tough obstacle, but the fact that it took out one of the Beastmasters, that says a lot.
Yeah, that's one. I mean, if you can get it in like a couple moves, like some people we saw, then it's kind of it could be a breeze. But if you get stuck on it, it can end up being like one obstacle where you're doing 20 moves, and that's a quick burnout.
Yeah, I think we saw that when it first appeared, right? People weren't sure how to tackle it. It looks like some people are sorting out how to use their body momentum and stuff to kind of get a swing going and skip a lot of it. And then we had Abel Gonzalez, one of the fan favorites from Edinburgh, Texas. Some of the highest obesity rates in the country. He's working with kids. Like, you cannot compete with St. John, New Brunswick, where I'm at. We are heads above the rest, but it's nice that he's doing what he can in his part of the world. It's very nice. He was moving fast through Crank It Up. He managed to make the dismount from the nail clipper. I was really excited at that point.
On that, I'll say on the nail clipper, when he started, he was dismounting from that far side, and it seems like last year we saw everyone go around that last one, and then they were dismounting backwards or had to do an extra move to turn around to dismount. And I mean, that did get a lot of people last year. So at first, though, when he was dismounting from that far side, I was like, oh no, this isn't going to go good. This isn't going to go well. And then he made it. And then it turns out that's how you should do it, because everyone else followed after him and got through it.
Yeah, almost everybody did that. That's a good point. He even managed to get those reverse grips on the 2 ledges of fallout, but twisted and fell on that rotating disc, and it was like, okay, now I see the tricks of this obstacle. This is going to be fun. This is going to be an interesting episode.
Yeah, that's as soon as he got on that disc, that's when I was like, oh, yep, that one doesn't look fun at all.
After him, we had Tremaine Dortch, who, in spite of having chiseled physique that they constantly go on about, and who can blame them? The guy is absolutely ripped. Looked really gassed and like unsure through the whole thing. They were not kidding. Like, the look on his face was like, this was not going to go well for him. He even got further than I thought, given the look he had on his face. He ended up falling on the salmon ladder and won't be going on to Vegas this year.
Yeah. I was really hoping to see him, because it seems like he's had some unfortunate luck over the last couple seasons. And I don't know. I also, every time I see him, and I'm like, when are we going to see him? Like, is there ever an age that he hits where he's not going to be this ripped? And I can't picture it. Every year, he just looks the same every year. Props to him. It's amazing.
And his wife, Cassandra, and their kid cheering on from the sideline, too. Cassandra, a good ninja on her own, who I haven't seen compete in a while. I think she's been otherwise engaged. After that, we had Kat Ratcliffe, a police officer who lost her dad at 8, and her abusive mom committed suicide at 15. Like, of all of the dark stories we've had on ANW, that has to be way up there. But fortunately, her adopted mom, Ellen, stepped in and was there to help cheer her on. So that was a good recovery, because they have to turn this around, because this story is just like too much right now.
Yeah, at first when she came on and I just saw she was a police officer, I was like, oh, cool, because I love like the Towers of Power, seeing all their firemen stuff, and
yeah,
and then like Selena Laniel and all that. Like, I was like, oh, cool, like another just super awesome, strong woman. And then yeah, the story got really sad, like really hooked me in, and it was really hard, but really cool seeing, I mean, just how that her new adopted mom stepped in and just knew what she was going through and just took her in from that. And then seeing her on the sidelines too, that part kind of got me. That was really cool to see her there.
Yeah, she's not even that much older than her, because, she was a teenager at the time. So for someone to step up with a teenager with a dark past like that, that's really nice of her to do that. Kat struggled on the archer steps. It was kind of showing off. We haven't seen much from the archer steps to this point. I was kind of just wondering what the deal was with them last week, I guess. So now we get to see a little bit of the difficulty in them. She ended up falling on the bouncing spider, trying to grab the smaller pipe. She did better this time. She hit the trampoline right, but tried to skip too far through the obstacle and ended up falling again. Yeah,
that was unfortunate to see. Like, I know those big ones always look like that's not an obstacle I've never done, and I don't necessarily care to try. Like, if I can avoid that throughout my ninja career, I'm cool with that. But it seems like it can be really hard to get off those two back ones on the side. So I get what she was going for, but it was just a little too far.
Yeah, that obstacle is still odd. I don't know what I think of it. It's such a strange mix of, it's like 3 obstacles in one. Like, what are you trying to do with this thing?
Yeah.
After that, we had Jeremiah Morgan, who we haven't seen in a hot minute, but we learned why, because he got electrocuted, apparently, and in a medically induced coma and had to learn to walk again. Kind of explains why he wasn't back last season, because we were questioning. I thought he didn't get the invite. I was really, really annoyed by that because he had done so well in previous seasons. Yeah, that would be a good reason.
Yeah, which Christine mentioned that he didn't get to go to Vegas last year because of the thing. So did he compete last year and just miss out on Vegas, or do you know did he miss out on the whole season?
I think he missed the whole season, but maybe that was it.
I remember seeing him before. As soon as I saw his dad, at first when I saw him, I was like, oh, who's this guy? And then I saw his dad. I was like, oh, yeah, he's got his dad, and he's got a couple brothers, and they all have that big shed with basically a ninja gym in their shed.
Yeah, this guy hit, like, I love how they kind of glossed over it. They mentioned it. I was wondering if they were going to. Eventually, they mentioned the fact that he's been on stage 3. Like, that is pretty rarefied air. Like, you really should stress the fact that this guy's made it to stage 3 before.
Yeah, I honestly didn't remember that. And then they said that, I wrote down one of my notes. I wrote down stage 3 ? 3 times. I was like, what? Like, that's something I feel like they could have hyped up a little more. Like, he's been to stage 3. He missed out last year. Now he's back and he's about to dominate.
I think he was a victim of the crazy amount of hype around Jeff and Isaac. I'm pretty sure it was season 7 that he managed it, when we had like 8 people go into stage 3. So it kind of he got lost in the shuffle there. I think they even fast forwarded his stage 3 run. Like, it was crazy. It was not, he definitely didn't get the due amount of attention that he needed there, I think.
Well, now he's got this season to shine. He better do it before Jeff Britton comes back next year.
Exactly. It's time. The clock's ticking. He did manage to beat the whole course, did an amazing job. I was really surprised he beat the nail clipper. It was looking strong. But when he took out Fallout, then I was like, oh yeah, he's got it now. There's no way after that he's letting the spider trap stop him. So fantastic job. Glad to see Jeremiah back.
Yeah, it was really cool seeing him. And I mean, just the story and everything, and to see like a completion after all that was really cool to see.
After that, we had a fast forward of one of our favorites, Nate Burkhalter, who went out on the salmon ladder. Like, what did they do to the salmon ladder in this city? It seemed like an unusual number of salmon ladder falls.
Yeah, I don't know. That one was hard to see. I mean, I don't know Nate. I'm just getting into the ninja scene, but I follow him on Instagram. He seems like one of the nicest guys. He's always out doing really cool stuff. So that was really tough to see. I was kind of bummed seeing him fall there.
And when we came back, we had Brittany Hanks take the course. Her story, again, fairly dark. She grew up poor. She talked about the fridge being virtually empty, but ended up going to college, and turning it around, running with a knee brace. Like, I mean, half these ninjas are put together with tape and glue and just trying to do what they can. Patched up holes in their heart. She did manage to beat the bouncing spider, but went out on the broken bridge. But definitely a good run for her.
So her having that knee brace, anytime I see someone with knee problems going on a trampoline or anything, it just freaks me out. I get really scared that we're going to see something bad. And then Matt Eisman even said something about, if you don't hit it right, you're going to crack. I was like, why do you have to use the word crack? Because she has a knee brace and you're trying to like make me cringe? Because I did and nothing happened. But I was like, like use buckle. Buckle's a good word for it, not crack.
Yeah. I don't know. Buckle could be bad too, I guess, depending on your point of view. But yeah, crack wouldn't be good. I'm surprised we don't get more serious injuries. Or maybe we do and they just, don't show them, because I don't think they want to show that off too much. Next up was the indisputable star of the episode, Matisse the Kid Owadi, who amazingly, after the qualifiers, really stepped up his training for the finals. That was reassuring to know that he spent those hours productively between filming the qualifiers and finals to get stronger so he could take it down.
All 5 hours from when he woke up.
Yep.
From sleeping all day, hit the gym hard for 3 hours, and then hit the city finals course.
Kills me. I get it. I get the practical aspects of it that they have to do. Why lie to us? Why just outright lie to us?
Yeah, I don't know. It is funny though. On the podcast with Matt and Akbar, the NBC podcast, which they do. They don't care. They bring all that stuff up. They're like, yeah, we film back-to-back nights. We film overnight, 3 a.m. Like they spill it all, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's a great podcast. I'm sure they really need our help to boost that audience, but it's really good. I thoroughly enjoy it and highly recommend it. But Matisse was 36 seconds to crank it up. Like, ends up just destroying this course, like making it look like it was nothing at all. He did, he had a slip up here or there where he said he was a little worried, but never really looked like he was having any real struggle. He got spinning on that disc, but recovered really quickly and was able to beat it. Just took the whole thing down. Absolutely proved all the hype was real. Fantastic job for a rookie to take down the finals.
Yeah, it's. I mean, he definitely lived up to the hype, and it's just crazy to think. There's guys who have been doing this a long time, who haven't finished qualifying course and then simultaneously finished a city finals course, and he's just walks in. He's like, "Hey guys, I'm 19. Let me show you how to do it all."
Yeah, he's really, really good.
Which I do want to say, he had that at first. He was just like flying through, like no hesitation. And then on the nail clipper, where I think is the time he's like, yeah, I was a little worried, but he did that like just one-handed, hanging out, like casually picked it back up, and then he's like, on the next nail clipper, did it again. Like it looked like it was on purpose the second time. It was crazy.
After him, we had the new fantastic, and I say that incredibly sarcastically, picture-in-picture run of Thomas Stillings. My new Palm Wonderful. This thing, well, no, not quite, but it is bad. I do not like this new picture-in-picture thing.
Okay, so I completely missed this on last week's episode, and when you mentioned Nick Hansen, I was like, what? I missed his run completely. I guess I watched it on Hulu, and I didn't see, with their separate ads, I guess, I didn't get the picture-in-picture, so I missed it completely.
Oh, okay.
So, which means I missed Thomas Stillings as well, which is good because one of my notes I wrote down, no Thomas Stillings. Dang it. So I'm glad at least he got, it was picture-in-picture, but at least I guess they did show his run.
But yeah, there's a perfect example, right? You're watching it on Hulu, so you completely miss out on his run. Like, it's just, so to bring you up to speed, here you go. Here is Thomas Stillings' run. He did a good job. He beat the nail clipper, ended up going out on the spinning disc on Fallout. He just couldn't get it straightened out. He was kept spinning and he was done. Very hard to focus on that with all of the craziness going on the upper left-hand side with all the commercials. But I brought it to you. You hear it here first. And for those of you that watched it on Hulu, Thomas Stillings did make it to the finals, did make it to Vegas, but ended up going out on Fallout.
Cool. Well, good to know. And yeah, like I said, I put that down in my notes. And then I saw, once I got on social media today after I watched the episode, I saw that he did the Ninja Warrior takeover on the Instagram. And so my thought was, how are you going to let him take over the Instagram? Is that you? Like, is that his time to shine? Like, take over the Instagram story because we're not going to show your run. But at least they did the picture-in-picture thing.
Right. Here's your consolation prize. There you go. Brent Stephenson got fast-forwarded after that. He barely beat the broken bridge. Kind of went a little wobbly there, but he did make it across and ended up going out on the nail clipper in the end.
His broken bridge run, it looks like that's how he should have, if he was in his old man costume, that's how an old man would have ran across the broken bridge. Not calling him old, and that's why he ran across that way, but it kind of looked like that. It reminded me of that.
Yeah, absolutely. I loved that old man run. I did not like it. I did not, for a number of reasons I'm not going to get into, but the athleticism that it takes to do that tricky course and almost like mock struggling on it while you're doing it, like that was a lot of skill to manage to pull that off.
Yeah, to be in character and be like, have to do it and keep in mind that you're trying to struggle through it.
Yeah, he did a really, really good job of that. Jon Stewart also got fast forwarded, who also went out in the nail clipper. John's just amazing. I'm pretty sure that was far enough. It must have been far enough for him to go to Vegas again. No, he was on the bubble. That's right. Later we find out. No.
Yeah, I know. That's one of my notes too. I put Jon Stewart, really sad face, because it was so cool seeing him finish the qualifying course, and I was so excited, and so close.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get to it when we get to it. I guess we'll mention it when we get there. But we joined Josh Salinas, who lost his nickname, as far as I can tell, Iron Josh, which I really like that nickname. Joined him mid-run, and then they end up showing his story as he approached the salmon ladder. Like, why? Like, the disjointed thing. Like, we're watching him on the course, and suddenly we're getting his backstory. Like, why didn't you put that at the first? Like, I don't understand. I want to see him get through the salmon ladder now.
Yeah, did they mention, like, before he ran, they mentioned something about, like, movie star looks, and then I don't know what they said. It seemed like they were like, oh, he's got the looks of a movie star and the skills of a ninja or something. I don't know if it was something like that. But then it seemed like they didn't bring that up at all throughout the run, or it had nothing to do with the story. Which, I mean, granted, he's a good-looking man, but I just didn't get the comment.
That's weird. I didn't catch that one.
Maybe I'm making it up. I don't know.
No, they probably did. It sounds like something they'd say. His student from Iron Sports, he also goes to Iron Sports, I'm almost positive. Atticus was just losing his mind in the stands. I love that kid. Just freaking out. Like, that's what my inner child is doing the entire time I'm watching the show. Is likes to see it like personified that way.
Yeah, that was really cool. And it was just a cool, I mean, you see the kids on the sidelines a lot, but to see that, I think that's what most kids are like, to see that actual reaction of, and that's the impact that these guys have on the kids and everybody watching and the kids they're training. And I know he brought that up. Part of his story is like he wants to impact these kids. So it's cool to see how much of an impact he can have.
His girlfriend Chelsea was also watching, who I am quite certain listens to this podcast. She commented on a number of them. So hello, Chelsea. Here's your little shout out. But Josh had no problem at all. Finished the course. 100% proved why he was one of our favorite rookies last season. So excited to see him going back to Vegas.
Yeah, he just looked super strong. He was moving super quick, and they did highlight him some last year, but I feel like, I mean, this was kind of like they picked up halfway through the run. Seems like, I don't know if we've got like a full feature on him, but I'd like to get more. Like, I wish they would highlight him a little bit more.
Yeah, I get that. I kind of don't mind this one. This one kind of has a nice balance where it's like, okay, you get a little bit of story and you get to see most of the run. If they need to shorten things down, I kind of feel this works, right? This is like a nice condensed version. Okay, yeah, good. Bang out a run. Next one, let's go.
Yeah, and I feel like for the city finals, especially, they've done a good job with the pacing. It has been more. It seems like it's more runs and shorter vignettes and all that.
Yeah, unless you're Kid Awadi. I mean, that's the only one they really went overboard with.
Yeah.
But I mean, they were in Dallas and they didn't hype Casey too much. Even though she didn't run the course, they should get a little bit. But I mean, when they're in Dallas, it's usually all about that.
Yeah, I actually thought about that too. You saw her on the sidelines supporting, but that was kind of it. She was just there hanging out and supporting everyone. So I thought that was good.
After that, we had, I have to mention this fast forward. He was one of our favorites from the qualifiers. Chris Camber, Shrimp Boots, ended up going out on Crank It Up. So unfortunately, we're not going to see him again this season. I really hope they bring him back because Shrimp Boots was one of my favorite things. Yeah,
I remember seeing him on Instagram before I actually saw the episode. And I was like, that seems crazy. And I was like, this might be one of those stories where I'm not going to, whatever. And then I saw it and like I agreed with you guys. Like, it was hilarious. Like, everything was so funny. He played it up well, and yeah, it was nice. I liked his comment after he fell and Crank It Up. They showed him he pouring out the water out of his boots again, and he said, got to leave some water for my friends.
That's nice. After that, one of our favorites this season, Quest O'Neal, and definitely not just ours, because I've gotten more comments about Quest in the last few days. Quest's parents had split up. They were cheering her on the sidelines. She had a big segment again, which I thought was a great sign. But no, she got hung up on the bouncing spider and fell. She just got it too high. Couldn't recover. I totally fell for it. They got me on this one. I thought she was going deep into the course after the big segment in the qualifiers and the good size segment here. I was like, Quest is going to Vegas, but unfortunately, no.
Yeah, I thought so too. I thought she was going to beat Crank It Up this time. I mean, seeing her qualifying run was so cool. Like she just kept going and going and going. It was so great. So yeah, I thought it was going to be that again.
Unfortunately not. Quest will, I would say, definitely be back. She had been a tester last season. It was good to see her running the course this year, and I hope they give her a chance to run again next. After her, we had Matthew Day mid-run. His little logo, his slogan there, best day ever, I think is one of the catchier, funnier shirts I've seen. He was the second fastest in qualifying, which is why he got kind of a lot of hype here. And he beat the nail clippers at a good pace. He was going through, and then they showed the timer. And as soon as they showed the timer, I tuned out. I just started fixing up my notes. I was like, they're not going to show the timer if he doesn't beat the time. Like, it's become the new Palm Wonderful. And Ryan Gavigan wrote in to say the exact same thing. So thank you, Ryan. I'm not crazy. I'm not obsessive. Well, maybe a little, but just stop being so obvious, AEW. Like, fix it up. Show us when they just miss it, or it's just becoming, you're what is the word I'm looking for? You're telegraphing the results when you do that. Stop it.
Yeah, I haven't let the time thing get me yet, but now I'm going to start looking at it and be like, oh, all right, cool. Here it comes. But I will say, it was really close. Like, even seeing the time, I didn't think he was going to make it because it was super close.
Right. I'm so happy that I get to ruin it for everyone else as well. Make everybody overthink everything and, spoil all the extra effort they put into editing. It's what I do.
But did he get the second fastest time of the night?
Yeah, I think he did. Yeah, he did.
Which he's 19 too, and it's crazy.
Oh yeah. He's one of the young rookies that we're going to be hearing about for a long time.
And I did a competition in Kansas City, like an NNL competition in Kansas City last season, and some guys from the Dallas area came up. He came up. I definitely didn't know he was 19 because he doesn't look 19. Maybe it's because he can grow a nice beard and I can't grow a beard at all. I'm 27.
Right.
But yeah, I didn't know he was 19, so that just makes it even crazier.
I kept getting him mixed up. I kept thinking he was Zach Day, who I know has been doing really well in the NNLs and stuff too. But next we had Eric Brown, an electrical lineman, which I thought was a strange coincidence, who climbs poles and repairs lines, a 39-year-old rookie. And I honestly, as much as I kind of was pulled in a little bit by the story, I thought it was kind of a neat job. I don't know. I tuned out on this. Something about this run, or maybe it's just because it's so late. He ended up going on the first nail clipper, and I was losing interest in the show. And I don't know if it had just built up after the Matthew Day timer thing or what was going on. But I say the end of this episode was dragging for me.
For him, I actually was pretty intrigued. The story, I think I'd bounce back into qualifier mode because I think the episodes do pace a little differently from qualifiers and finals. And it almost felt like that. It's like, oh, here's a story. And it seems like a really cool job and it does fit with Ninja, but at the same time, I was like, oh, okay, he might not make it that far though. And then he kept going. So he fell on the first nail clipper, went out pretty quick as soon as he grabbed it. But when he was running, he went further than I thought and he looked stronger than I expected.
That's good. I'm glad it was just me because it really probably was just me. And I only mentioned it because I snapped to attention so quickly when Barclay Stockett took the course. Like, as soon as she was out there, just beaming ear to ear, and her story, I was wide awake. I was so in. I absolutely love her. She was one of my favorite ninjas. She instantly just rocketed to the top of my list. Like, I just love watching her run.
Yeah, she's so strong. It's crazy. And I mean, we all know that. And every time they show that her going up the salmon ladder at Iron Sports, I'm just like, that's my goal, I think, is to fly up a salmon ladder like that. Like, it's crazy.
Right.
She's so strong and powerful. And even my wife mentioned, my wife doesn't watch, she's been watching this season, probably because I ran. So that's probably why she agreed to watch.
Right.
But she's kind of, I always update her on stuff. And she even commented, she's like, where'd she come from? Like, what? I was like, she blew up, like she kind of came out of nowhere. Like last year she burst onto the scene, like, because she's amazing. So
yeah, she's been traveling around the world. Like, it's not even just within the U.S. thing. She is training armed forces around the world. She ended up beating the Broken Bridge and going to Vegas. She beat Crank It Up, no problem. She ended up going out on the third nail clipper using this technique of wrapping her arms around the front of the nail clipper, which with her shorter arms is pretty much the only way she's going to get past them.
Yeah, I really thought before, and as she was running, I thought she was going to get past it. And I was really expecting her to, and I was really excited. And then as soon as I saw her, like, just, it's way harder wrapping around with the shorter arms. So as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh no, but I still thought she might have it. And then sadly she did go down.
Yeah, I put no cap on her at all. I thought she was going to beat the whole course. I wouldn't have been surprised at all. But unfortunately, it wasn't this season. I would not be too surprised to see if it happens next. After her, we saw Karsten Williams get fast-forwarded, who ended up falling on the nail clipper, but will be going to Vegas, thankfully, because Karsten has had a few rough falls the last couple times we've seen him on Ninja vs. Ninja and then the qualifiers here. So glad to see Karsten getting his chance to redeem himself in Vegas.
Yeah, I remember after seeing him in Ninja or Season 2, Ninja vs. Ninja, Team Ninja at the time, and that's when he seemed like he kind of erupted, just so talented, so fast in that. And then it's like had some unfortunate runs the last couple seasons. So yeah, I'm glad he's going back.
And then we wrapped up the episode, no surprise whatsoever, with Daniel Gill. With Jon Stewart on the bubble, it's like I don't even know who would be worse. Maybe Drew or Joe, but there's no one you want taking that course less when you're on the bubble than Daniel Gill.
It's very similar to LA Finals with Grant.
Yeah. Are we gonna be? Is this gonna be a thing every time we're gonna have one of our favorites sitting on the bubble and one of our fast favorites taking the course?
Yeah, and I will say, as soon as Daniel Gill took the course, quote from my wife, again, not that into Ninja Warrior, but we're working on it. This is a start. Quote from my wife: "I would do so many bad things for his hair. It's not fair. He and his wife both have luxurious, luscious hair."
Yeah, it is noteworthy. It is iconic, and for good reason. It is beautiful hair. He was just going at an insane pace through this course. Like, if they had just made it a ramp from beginning to end, I'm not sure he would have made it there much faster. 108, he was up the wall. He finished the whole thing over a half minute faster. Like, it was just an insanely good, quick run. And he thought, he was worried, and you saw he was not joking when she mentioned the time to him. He honestly thought he didn't get the fastest time.
Yeah, and he was extremely surprised that it was like 30 something seconds, and then he was like, "Oh, I thought I was behind. I didn't think I was gonna get it." It was like, dude, he didn't stop running once. He's in Ninja versus Ninja mode.
So it'd be interesting to see how he does in Vegas this year. I think it's gonna be a really good year in Vegas. I can't wait to see it. But we have a few more city finals to go before that happens. Before we wrap up this episode, we have a couple of Ninja news items here. First, ANW Kids, that's Ninja Warrior Junior, American Ninja Warrior Junior, is set to debut on October 13th on Universal Kids. Thank you, Daniel Mount, for sending that in and for pointing out that the article very helpfully lets us know that it will feature, quote-unquote, real kids.
Opposed to robot kids, or
Yeah, just in case we were going to send in the robots to take the course this time, we're going to use real ones, I guess, this season anyway. There was some new info. I'll have a link to the article in the show notes, as always, or on our website, ninjapodcast.com. But there was some new info in there for me anyway. I didn't know this. Each age bracket will be mentored by all-star ninja mentors, including Kevin Bull, Drew Dreschel, Natalie Duran, Megan Martin, Najee Richardson, and Barclay Stockett. So if you hadn't needed a reason to tune in, there's a pretty good one.
That's cool. I like that twist on it because, it just the kid Ninja Warrior, like I feel like I would tune in just to see how it is, but just kind of random kids, well, at least they're not robots, but random kids running the course. It's like, okay, cool. But to see that's a good way to bring in the normal Ninja Warrior fans with the actual ninjas helping out and seeing them around. That will be cool.
Yeah. And the intention, if we can do it, is Bijan and I will cover the first episode when it debuts, again, October 13th. Speaking of coverage, in the off season, we will be covering once again, Ultimate Beastmaster, and Season 3, it's been announced, will premiere on August 31st, overlapping with our coverage of ANW. So we might give it a couple weeks and kick it off after the season, but we will definitely be covering Beastmaster again. And if you don't know what it is, you need to check it out because it is fantastic.
It's a good way, since it's all on Netflix, it's a good way to ease the wait between Ninja Warrior episodes. You can go watch some Beastmaster episodes.
Yeah. Unless you're like us and we have to watch one a week until we get through it all. Maybe two. I think we'll probably end up doing two. But yeah, it's good. It's really, really good.
Yeah, Season 1, I watched it kind of to watch it. And I was like, this could be cool. Season 2, they stepped it up a lot, though. It seemed like they got more... they got athletes that are more properly trained for obstacles, and Season 2 was great. Yeah, it was awesome. So I'm excited for Season 3.
So before we wrap things up here, Jacob, thank you once again for joining me and filling in for the ever lazy Bijan, who, every year it seems like he needs to take 1 week off. It's just getting ridiculous. But if people wanted to reach out to you, social media, or if you have anything coming up that you wanted to promote, or the gym that you go to, just let her fly. Anything you want to talk about.
So I guess, you mentioned a gym. I live in Wichita, Kansas now, and there's not necessarily a gym. There's a rock climbing gym that I've been going to. It's called Bliss Bouldering and Climbing Gym. But earlier today, I actually had an interesting meeting with a trampoline. It's like a sports facility trampoline park. They have some kid obstacles, but I had a cool conversation today about possibly expanding their obstacle course to a ninja program and starting some ninja nights there. So
cool.
Hopefully I'll have more details on that. And all my social media is at DJ Tight Pants, because that's my awkward name on the radio, but Tight Pants, at DJ Tight Pants, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So hopefully I'll be posting some more stuff. Maybe I'll have some ninja news for Wichita there soon.
Very, very cool. So that is it for this week. Thank you all so much for listening. If you'd like to reach out to me, you can reach me as rich@ninjapodcast.com. I am at Ninja Podcast on both Instagram and Twitter. And I already asked you how to reach you, Jacob.
At Bijan151, Twitter and Instagram.
There you go, at Bijan151. Thank you all for listening, and I hope you have a great week.
Peace and love, y'all.